In NASCAR, there have been tons upon tons of races, thousands in fact. Most fall in the category of alright. Not too great, but not exactly bad. Merely adequate. But there is one race to me that is so perfectly fitting of this, yet so stupidly fitting of this, that it just has to be talked about. One that has all the ingredients of a horrible race, only to have stewed for 16 years now and become one of the most memorable races. And that race is the 2005 Coca-Cola 600. To start with, we gotta lay out some settings for it. At the time, the Charlotte Motor Speedway was actually the Lowe's Motor Speedway. And the Lowe's car really basically owned the joint. For 2 years preceding the 2005 race, Jimmie Johnson was the man to beat. And what 2005 could be would be Johnson's third straight Coke 600 victory. And remember that this was only Johnson's fourth season in Cup, so he already had been doing pretty well. The track itself, not so much. After years of wear and tear, the track had the consistency of a cheese grater. And it was to the point of calamity being imminent, which ended up making Chris Meyer's pre-race comments really eerie.
The very first 600, 42 cars failed to finish. I mean, that won't happen tonight. If it does, we certainly would know who the winner is.
And with that, they were off.
DW, 600 miles. Let's have a Sunday night party. Reach up there and pull those belts tight one more time. All right, all right. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
Now, it seemed like a normal start to a race. The 2004 NASCAR Busch Series champion Martin Truex Jr. did crash, and he brought out the first yellow, and then Kurt Busch quickly followed him. But after that, there wouldn't be another caution until nearly the 100-lap mark. And on lap 101, the first major incident occurred.
Trouble turn 2, back straightaway, big pileup. Scott Riggs is in it. Jimmy Spencer backs it into the wall. Robbie Gordon was right in the center of things. And caution is out for the fourth time today at lap 100.
This will be a huge break for Bobby Labonte, the 18 car.
Now, this crash is important not for who was in it, but more for who it helped. Bobby Labonte got the free pass in his number 18 FedEx Chevy. The reason that the 18 was donned in purple and white instead of green and black was because Jason Leffler missed the show in his number 11 car, which was sponsored by FedEx. FedEx had it under contract that they had to be in this race, so Gibbs struck a deal with Interstate Batteries and got FedEx onto the 18 for the race. Trust me, he'll be important later on in the night. Same with the next lucky dog recipient in Joe Nemechek. And then after that, they just basically began to have crash after crash after crash. Come to lap 216, and now Chip Ganassi's night goes to hell.
Joining those Penske cars.
Oh, we got trouble, turn 2. Casey Mears and the one of Martin Truex.
Oh, and somebody else nailed him. Is that
Marlin, Mears' teammate, nailed him.
And remember, why Sterling Marlin was back that far was that penalty he had for not reducing his speed on pit road during that caution while ago.
Robbie Gordon gets a lap back.
Due to all these crashes, it meant that the survivors were staying more and more on the lead lap because of the Lucky Dog Award. So while someone like Bobby Labonte would run 30th or Joe Nemechek would run 20th, they still were in the hunt. From lap 200 to the end of the race, though, there was no run that lasted longer than 45 laps, and many of the runs didn't even last 3 laps. By lap 246, they already had 14 cautions, but caution 15 caused a huge stir.
They're going to be able to stay out when some of these other guys have to come in. That could get them back to the front, but driving back to the front is pretty tough. Oh! Michael just got turned.
And look at Matt Kenseth in the 17 gets wrapped up in it.
Bunch of cars. What in the world happened, guys?
You think Chip Ganassi's had problems? I think the two DEI cars just got together and brought on that big pileup.
This was one of the breaking points for DEI. Before the season, owner Teresa Earnhardt swapped her two drivers and teams. The Great 8 team that helped Dale Jr. get 6 wins was given to Michael Waltrip, while Michael Waltrip's team that could only win on the plate tracks was given to Dale Jr. With tension building between both drivers as well as them and their owner, this was DEI's breaking point and turning point. After the 2005 season, Waltrip would go on to race for his own team instead of DEI. But the night had to continue on no matter the struggles and drama of DEI. Debris cautions made up a majority of the cautions in the final 100 laps. But with around 20 to go, the same bug that bit Ganassi and DEI bit the Hendrick cars.
Well, now he's about to be caught. Oh, trouble! Brian Vickers got in the back of one car, turned it sideways. Jeff Gordon's in it. Bill Elliott.
Martin, the 6.
Bill Elliott was the car that Vickers got into.
Kevin Harvick in the 29.
And the rest of the field.
Mark Martin and Kevin Harvick torn up. And we have just broken the all-time record for caution flags on a NASCAR race.
With this wreck, the record for most cautions in a Cup race was broken. Up front, Joe Nemechek led by a skosh over the aforementioned Bobby Labonte. Jimmy Johnson restarted 11th with fresh tires, but it looked like it was going to be Nemechek versus Labonte with 10 to go. Until
Jimmy Johnson, though, is coming. Oh, car in the wall. Hard and coming down from the traffic, the leader. Nemechek has crashed. Wimmer has crashed.
He put oil down. Sorry. I blew a right rear.
Right rear tire for Nemechek.
Nemechek blew a right rear, and in an instant, Labonte was the improbable leader. Front row Joe's heartbreak may have turned into Bobby Labonte's treasure, while Jimmy Johnson had charged from 11th now to the 3rd position. They restarted with 5 to go.
Oh, there'll be 5 to go here. Gaining speed. At 115 miles per hour as he takes the green flag.
Bobby Labonte trying to win for the first time since Homestead, Florida, November of 2003. Carl Edwards trying for his 2nd win of his season and career.
Johnson can't be held up very long. If he's going to win this race, he's got to go and go hard.
Side by side with Brian Newman in the 12 car off into turn 3. You can see how hard he's driving that car. She's bottomed out. He's 4 to go this time.
And Carl Edwards just got all sideways down there in the middle of 3 and 4, and that's going to hurt him. And here comes Jimmy Johnson.
Edwards is going to start big picture racing as Johnson moves to the inside for 2nd. And Jimmy Johnson's three-peat is 1 spot away.
I think that he's probably got enough steam and enough time now to get the job done. Bobby, don't look back, but he is gaining and coming fast.
Johnson closing on Labonte. Looks like Carl Edwards closing on Jimmy Johnson in Atlanta. It took a bold move by Edwards to win. What'll happen here?
Well, here they come, Larry.
3 to go this time.
4 laps, buddy. 34.
Bobby Labonte just ran the fastest lap he's ran in this race right there at lap 397.
He's going to have to run 3 more just like it.
No, he's going to have to pick up about 2/10.
Biffle moves up to 6 past Martin Truex. But it's all for the win right here.
Boy, Jimmy Johnson just drives it down there to 3 and 4. Pressure tires to the high side. They'll almost be side by side off turn 4.
Cross under move by Johnson. No room. Labonte blocks him.
2 to go.
Go, man. Here we go. Be smart.
Be smart. Take your time. You got plenty of time, I think. Easy for me to say.
Boy, Labonte is good at the south end of the speedway.
Boy, that was impressive right there to hold Jimmy off.
They stayed pretty even. Right here's where he got to run the last time. They'll be coming to the white flag this time.
He's going to hold him off, Larry. I think he can do it.
But Johnson is good off turn 4, and if he can get alongside, and Labonte.
Buddy, it's all you.
Right to the grass to hold him off. Last time.
He can't do it. I don't believe he can do it unless Bobby messes up.
There he goes to the bottom, Darryl. They're going to be side by side on turn two. Bobby's on the high side.
You can't pass over there. There's no way.
What's that?
One last charge right here, man.
It's all over, boys.
Was that the last best move made
outside.
too soon?
Here he comes. Outside. Outside.
Just like in Atlanta last March. He's not going to be able to do it, I don't think. They're side by side.
Here he comes.
Jimmy Johnson. Right in the 48 car.
He did it. 3 in a row, Jimmy Johnson.
Just like that, Johnson continued his ascension to the top driver in NASCAR. Meanwhile, Labonte had just experienced what would be his last great shot at greatness. He would fade into obscurity after this race. The race itself ran for almost 5 hours and 15 minutes, and after all that time, after a record 22 cautions and 37 lead changes, the margin of victory ended up being only 0.027 seconds. The race also started the season collapses of superstars Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr., who would never again get as high in points that season as they were heading into that night. As for a positive for this race, it does mark the first career top 10 for future 2017 champion Martin Truex Jr. The racing, when it did actually occur, was pretty good, epitomized by the finish. But it was pretty terrible with the wreck after wreck after wreck after wreck after more wrecks that followed and preceded. For those reasons, this was the worst best race in NASCAR history, in my opinion. Now with that, I would like to pass this one on to you. What do you think is the best worst race in NASCAR history? Or the worst best race, however you want to put it. And what do you think of the 2005 Coke 600? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're at it, leave a like on this video. Share this video, subscribe to my channel to get more of this great NASCAR content. And until next time, have a good one.